Hi, this is Nathaly with Unicorn Properties, and today we are with Marco.
Hello.
From Brazil.
Yes.
He's the representative of the country, and we just have a few questions on what's buying property over there.
Of course, that would be my pleasure.
Awesome. So first of all, the main question that always comes is like, if I'm not a Brazilian citizen, can I purchase real estate there?
Yes, you can. There's a bit of bureaucracy involved, as it is often with countries with Latin origins. So you might have to, go through certain government-related procedures to get a few documents here and there. You have to go to a notary and so on. But of course, an agent, a good EXP agent, and a lawyer combined can help you in that process.
Awesome. So then, if let's say an American citizen goes there, what would be the buying process like? What are the steps they need to follow, besides finding a good real estate agent?
Of course, first they will need to get a Brazilian document. That'll be kind of like your your social security number, something like that, so that you can actually so that you can register your new property at a notary in Brazil. Then you would go to the notary. You have to, of course, sort out your financing, sort out how you're going to pay for that property with your agent, with your seller. But after everything is said and done, after payment is completed, you just go to the notary, you have your registry done, and you're good to go.
Awesome. What is the financing? Like, usually people go there and buy cash, or is like seller's finance for some developers, or does the bank provide any loans for international buyers?
Well, for international buyers, quite often they would come and they would be ready to buy because of the difference in currency exchange. So if we're talking about the US dollar to the Brazilian real, that's a 5-to-1 ratio. So if you're talking about a 1 million reais property in Brazil, which is a good property, that would be $200,000, and that of course would be easier for a buyer from the United States to buy the property up front. If we're talking about Brazilian buyers, then of course financing through banks and so on, bank loans, etc., would be the preferred method of paying.
Awesome. Is it common for Brazil to have like pre-construction projects that people can buy like now and have it delivered in a year or two? Or
Yes, it is. Right now, the market in Brazil consists of 70% of all transactions are done on the resale market. So we call it the secondary market, resale properties that are done and then are sold to somebody else. So we have a whopping 30% opportunity of new developments, of new buildings being built up, and then you can, of course, buy one of those properties and it will be done 1, 2, 3 years from now, depending on the opportunity as well. And of course, you can also do the same, you can buy your own land, you can hire your own architect, and then you can build your own property as you would like.
Awesome. I'm sure different areas have different tax points as well. So what would be, let's say, the closing cost, more or less, once you either buy land or property ready to go, for the sales tax and also for the ongoing property tax that gets paid every year?
Well, it really does depend on the size of the property, the value of the property. So what you have one tax that you have to pay yearly, that is kind of around-ish 1% of the value of the property that's registered at a notary. So that won't, quite more often than not, that will not represent the sales value of the property. It's just its intrinsic value, what's registered at the notary. But you can also, depending on the acquisition itself, the value of the property, sales, sales ranges, tax ranges may vary.
Okay, so based on location and what type
location
of property?
And the type of the property and the price you're paying for it.
Awesome. Perfect. So is there any risks, let's say, that the buyer that goes there should be aware of? The market is not as regulated as the US. I'm sure they need to have a very good trusted agent to find certain properties, because there's any risks that you might want to share with.
First things first, if you're an international buyer, if you're buying property elsewhere, it could be in your own country, but if it's a place that you don't know, then you have to be very mindful of who you're dealing with and how you're conducting that transaction. That in and of itself, when you're an international buyer, you're of course concerned about the transaction, but at the same time, the seller is also concerned that they'll be paid accordingly, that transaction will happen smoothly. So there are those cultural challenges related to the transactions, of course. But other than that, Brazil is a booming economy. Our market is currently, financing is currently expensive due to interest rates being up, both in the US and in Brazil alike. So there is an opportunity to buy property in Brazil and to sell it later at a later date for an increased price.
Awesome. So yeah, they have to be aware that not only the language can be a difference, but also the style.
Of course,
the methods.
Cultural changes are important.
Yeah, perfect. Well, that's kind of everything we have. Thank you so much, Marco. And
Thank you.
Thank you.
Nice seeing you again.
And if you have any questions, we'll have Marco's information in the description below, just for anything related to EXP, realty in Brazil.
Yes. Thank you. Take care.
Thank you.